Cool. All right, guys, welcome to Fix Your Warm Up. Three things to think about to have a great warm up. And today I'm going to expand on the first upgrade in the PDF. 6 upgrades every man in his 50s needs to make to transform his workouts. I know that's a mouthful, but that is a better warm up. Okay, that's the first upgrade that I talked about in the PDF. Now, if you haven't downloaded the PDF, there is a link in the description, so you can do that. Or you can email me at anthony@50 for 50.fit if you want. Let me see if I can do this without the glasses. So, all right, the warm-up. I know it's not very sexy, and a lot of us neglect it. Whether that's not doing a warm-up or just kind of half-assing it the whole way through. We want to jump in, want to get right into the workout. I know I'm guilty of it myself. Same thing. I hate to warm up. But look, if you can think about these three things, I promise it'll make your warm up be more efficient and go quicker. And speaking of quicker, you can also watch my YouTube video on the YouTube channel. I'll try to put up a link for that. But if you search 50 for 50 on YouTube, I did a video, and it's actually attached to the PDF as well. But it's called The Ultimate 5-Minute I Hate to Warm Up. So basically, it's 5 minutes. We kind of check the boxes on getting a pretty good warm-up. So the three things that we're going to talk about today are think from the ground up, keep it moving, and what are you preparing for? So let's jump right into it. We're going to make this relatively quick. I had a couple questions that were asked to me through email, so I'm going to answer those as well. All right, so thinking from the ground up, what does that mean? Now, when I'm planning a warm-up, for the most part, I think of the path of childhood development. Now, what does that mean? Think of a child when they're always on their back at first, right? And then they learn to roll over, and they're on their stomach, and they're kind of coming up, they're kind of pushing off, right? And they get into this quadruped position, or hands and knees, but really a crawling position, right? And then they start to learn to stand up, right? And they do that through like some hinging and squatting patterns, and then they start locomotion, so starting to walk. So I like to think of that from a template perspective. That's how we're going to start our warm-up and then move in that direction. So we're going to work on different things in each of those different positions, because really we want to prepare our body for what's coming, right? It makes sense. And so we're going to do some things on our back, we're going to do some things on our stomach, on our hands and knees, or in quadruped position, and then stand up, do some squatting and hinging into locomotion, depending on what we're doing today. So we're going to start out generally for a workout. It's really what we're talking about for the most part. We're going to hit some other different cardio and then maybe some different sports as well. But because the warm-up right now in the workout, it's general. It's a general template, since the workouts in the first phase of 50 for 50 are total body workouts. So we want to get a little bit of something of everything, right? Kind of a jack of all trades idea, for the most part. So I use the idea from the ground up, mimicking childhood development, as a template for the warm-up. So again, I'll start out with some bridges and some rocking, turn over, get to some different, some planks, maybe a couple stretches, the cobra stretch and a side plank, maybe some push-ups after that, depending on what we're doing today, into this hands and knees position. So like a cat and camel, some stretching in that position, some rotation, and some opposite arm and leg into crawling. Okay, those are all fundamental movement patterns. And we'll stand up, we'll do some different single leg stuff, like maybe some split squat or some lateral squatting into squatting and hinging, whether that's double leg or single leg. Ideally, we would kind of get into some jogging and some lateral shuffles as well, which I do show you in that ultimate 5-minute I hate to warm up video, so you can see that. All right, so that's just the template that I try to use. Just Again, don't forget, as a trainer, I'm trying to teach people things, teach my clients how to warm up. So I want that in their head so when they're alone, they know what to do. All right, so number 2, keep it moving. So I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, like why bother saying keep it moving? We're doing a warm up, but we're preparing our body to move. So from my perspective, there's not a lot of reason to do like to rest in between exercises or do any static stretching. Now, in the fitness world, that might be a little controversial in the beginning, but I'm not saying static stretching is bad. But I'm trying to get you guys to warm up. And the feedback that I've gotten over the last 18 years is that 1, nobody loves to warm up, and 2, no one really loves sitting around doing static stretches, especially men, right? We're not really, for the most part, built for it. So when you see the static stretches in the warm up, immediately you kind of get that you're filled with dread, and they're going to be sitting around trying to stretch out those tight hamstrings. And it's really not the feeling I want you to go in to the warm-up with, right? So by keeping it dynamic, we can move from one exercise to the next and really get it over with, to be honest. But also, we're going to do a couple things. We're preparing our body to move. That's what we want. But also, we're going to get the heart rate up, okay? Because we're not going to take any rest. Frankly, we don't really need rest, right? The exercises in a warm-up are not that challenging. For the most part, they can be. But there's no external load besides gravity, so we're not taxing our body like a workout. So we want to keep it dynamic, keep it moving. We're going to raise that core temperature. We're going to get the heart rate up a little bit. And again, I'll say it again, preparing our body for what's coming. So that's the next. That's number 3, is think about what we're preparing for. And again, this sounds pretty simple, but it's a mistake a lot of people make. So in the 50 for 50 challenge, I give 2 different warm-ups for the workouts. And we kind of alternate just to kind of keep it a little bit fresh. But I also have a warm-up for the cardio day because they're 2 different things, right? So with the workouts, like I said, we're looking at more of a general perspective. So from the ground up template fits in well here. Now for the cardio days, we're going to get a little more focused on things like the lower body, like calves. We're gonna work on some hips, some hip stretches, because the hips are going to be moving, some hamstrings, right? So those are some things that we're going to add and focus on in a cardio day. Now, if you were going to play a sport like basketball, let's say you're going to play even just pick up basketball, or even by yourself. You might want to include some, forward and backward jogging. You might want to include maybe a few sprints, not at 100%, but do a few sprints. Maybe we're going to do some lateral shuffling, right? And then add some jumping or plyometrics into the warm-up because that's what we're going to be doing. So we're trying to prepare our body for what's coming, right? If you're going to play golf, your focus might be on the hips, right? There's a lot of rotation in the hips that we're going to be using. Same thing with rotation of the upper body, right? I like to, my fitness facility was called 5 Iron Fitness. I had that for almost 10 years. And, I always thought about the neck as well. Okay, like making sure that neck was really loose. So, again, we're thinking about the demands of the sport, right? So what am I preparing my body for? And what are some of the movements that are going to help me for whatever I'm doing? So let me just make sure there's no questions. Okay, cool. So let's review. Think from the ground up, right? We're on our back, we're on our stomach, hands and knees. We go to these squatting and hinging patterns. Keep it moving. You want to keep it dynamic in all different ranges of motion with little to no rest to prepare you for what's coming, get the heart rate up, and raise that core body temperature. And last, think about what you're preparing for. So exactly what you're going to be doing. Is it a total body workout? Or you're going to have to do some sprinting? You want to keep it sport specific if that's what you're doing. Pick movements that are going to help prepare you. All right, so I had a couple questions sent to me, Bill wanted to know, what about foam rolling and do I need it in the warm up? Now, I normally highly recommend foam rolling. It's in the program as well. Right now, you won't see it in any of these recommendations for the most part, but it is something I'd love for you to explore for sure. Now, I love it. I recommend it to everyone, but it's not in here because I'm focused on getting you to warm up efficiently, and this might be something I might add. And too many people will get on the foam roll and stay on it for too long. And then, it ends up being this thing where, hey, my warm up was 20 minutes long, I didn't have the time, blah, blah, blah. So, for the most part, I leave it out in these kind of quick tutorials, right? But I do have it in the program as optional. Again, not everybody's going to have a foam roll, but I would love for you to get one and even do it at night while watching TV. It doesn't always have to be in the warm-up. For me, I like it. I think it gets blood flow to the area that you're rolling. And the bottom line is it just feels good. To be very scientific, I feel like it works out some of the kinks. I always love the saying, it's a poor man's massage, too. So it's something that, to get blood flow going, to get blood flow in that area. You'll hear a few, if you do on the upper back, you'll hear some cracks, kind of gets things moving around. So for me, it always feels good, get some blood flow going, and I think it's a great way to start the warm-up. So Bill, keep doing it if you're doing it. Just try to keep it simple. Again, when we go back to what we're preparing for, if we're going to be golfing, I'll really just try to focus on the hips and that upper body. Maybe some shoulder stuff underneath the arms. And if we're going to be doing some running, etc., I will make sure I get the calves done, the quads, the hamstrings, etc. So again, thinking of what can I do? What am I going to be doing, right? All right, so let's talk about Brian's question. Can I just do the treadmill for 5 minutes? Hey, listen. Is the treadmill better than nothing? Yes, it will. It is. It's going to raise core body temperature, and I would say it's better than nothing. So if you had a choice between nothing and the treadmill, I would say yes, absolutely. But I don't think it really prepares us for what we're going to do, right? Unless we're going to go jogging. But even then, I think you could use some stretches and some exercises to get you ready for the run. So, like we talked about, like even a foam roll on the calves, foam roll on the quads and the hips and the hamstrings, doing some bridges, some planks, right? Because let's be honest, the treadmill's not going to get different muscle groups firing, right? And it won't do anything really for the core or upper body. So when we're thinking about getting prepared for what's coming, that's what the treadmill's missing. It is going to raise core body temperature. But again, I just feel like that 5 minutes could be better spent. And that's why I did the ultimate 5-minute I hate to warm up video, because I wanted people to see that you can get a really short warm up in and it could still be efficient and check all those boxes on a good warm-up. So that's it, guys. I think, again, we want to think of those 3 things. If I'm going to review, think from the ground up, keep it moving, and think about what you're preparing your body for. All right, so remember, if you haven't downloaded the PDF, the link is in the comments. If you haven't liked the page or gone to the YouTube channel, please go there and subscribe. And remember, we have a challenge starting in July, so you can get on the wait list at 50 for 50.fit. Thanks, guys.